NPP for him says John Mahama Bino etumi de ade we eba mrem na be yemra koko kwani bie ni wa obedi hia koko kwani bie ni anakuma sebio ebebo di bribri adentira you say the cocoa price na conform only problem the one say also obo cocoa di gum because on the at the end of the day onim say your base price chip of Joseph Edu omoto keyboard computer keyboard something keyboard. Let me show you a keyboard ni. They bought this keyboard, this Apple keyboard. I'm going to keyboard 45 million. Keyboard and the NPP. They bought keyboard for 45 million. Who do they 45 million bit my 45 million Ghana cedis keyboard bako.
Yama afefo ina apaba na yem formula yem platform we eso Kevin Tailor osajifo aba na this time around the information aba abusanfo ni na eye Joseph Boahin Edu former CEO edima cocoboard na ene Kevin edina power atosoyi. In fact baby Ghana ye bedru as cocoboard eni ahoden na a car cocoboard boy over the years ebesi sambe ya ne cocoboard engine na nso nyina no sa owura we ena na oye opanyin kwankyerefo a oda no Joseph Boahin Edu na bufusem ne se ene the spokesperson Fifi Boafo ekotena TV3 Mede Brown ensema na okeka ni niema na okeka no na chese eye bufusem papa eno na Kevin Tailor one man homene so. In fact, internet Jesus yebra panyin Kevin osajifo waji na gba na wato no boase akirechire niamumu na wa expose wabo videos wayi enkrata adiaba montin so mesrew so benya abotre na wati enye no nko operation recover all loot Ghana for say o lose interest Kevin Tailor chirema judges no motiti ti case ni so no ono obey within his capacity to make sure say you judge na the case amount na what na so for about a month you could leave now you see you will leave the case na judge for ato aso or this boy ato ho na me sure say yeah attorney general so etie bia busia NPP as usual we try the amount left and right Kevin Tailor yenti nsani bia koba yet was pepe ediama mesra so do comment betum na like this particular very video na wa share na foforo enye bia hwe yenti nsani bia ko be beto so
ahana na wosen komone ko nanso komone ko gina komone ko gina de komone ko gina Randy Abe yempe Randy Abe komone ko gina cocoboard ena NDC baye ena ya NDC fo no omaku cocoa kuafo ompe cocoa kuafo asem ena cocoa kuafo ma entimi ko school NPP fo mpesa wo betie we ni asam no adenti no mancheche we manchire wo edi na ato force ne president say yenye de na ato force ne ka nyina no na eye cocoa kuani no ho beto ne ntira reforms say ye di nyoma betutu kwan mu de na ye ne dada no ye be jai ne aye ne foforo na cocoa kuani no ne ho ato no enti the priority of the president and the government is to make sure say cocoa kuani ne de wa famu mbre bia osene ne nje ho no saa de no onfamu biem adenti na yama ye ni anko sansem we ho adenti na ye ni akogina ene ye say Randy Abe no or ye Metro TV. I don't care about Randy Abe because Randy Abe can be changed any day. Anybody can come. If we don't have better reforms, cocoboard will still be cocoboard. We will still incur crazy debts, and that is the basics. Those are the basics. Cocoboard, you bet to the yesu abetna ho say yenye the right reforms say anya ya adwene ya sesanyo mem ama abandon take drastic decision I be to me a protect Ghana kuani na ye be ma NPP fo nkwasiafo abetna TV so say see omo start tena TV so kasa ye tenkran no wa wote akontomra e de na ya mawo boy ya obegina ho Dennis Miracle Abuaji begina ho ojimi no ho ekura bi asebe na ote ne huni ba pen na okokokue ekokokue ni de wu koma na dwi onim otenkran di jantrafo ode wanim ekoji sika won kran obeton wanim ena ode beji sika won kran se hwe kokokuafo no omu wu enso odu nkran a emfa no ho omo di to me 8 years sa video me boy yi brofo na finance minister ka atofo se John Mahama tenase o se yenyen hyehyeye na kokoo kueni no sebio ne kra ne sub ne ede obra ne yensesa no. That is what we call leadership. Omo pese in sakrayeba. And this in person so waka say ai ene ba no se na nyoma tie no saa it is syndicated loan yakwaji loan and this nye ready and this say senior kokoo kueni na bre no John Mahama say yemfa nhyehyeye mra senior tumi de nhyehyeye ba ya ende obia ebo gold board so no eje so say gold board ibo adwuma sami jemfi ibo adwuma no. This is the same thing and we need to bite it hard. Uye kokoo kueni a sa nkomo we ne hia na ma menche na atofo seneka atofo seneka sa no all start no say de na omo be ka kire Ghana fo nyina ne reforms so maye no ebe guarantee fair price to the farmer long term investment omo be so mo ye e wo kokoo kueni into see in some na John Mahama echo cabinet omo kan nyina ne say omo pe eboa enyo china ne ochinechi kokoo farmer nya 100 Ghana na atiaba 30 Ghana na akọ 120 Ghana o say omo de nyoma betutu kwan mu a kokoo kueni ni sika no bebie gina no dollar kosuru dollar ba fomo sa kokoo kueni nim se me sika we di obi anfa ne nsanka because ochina John Mahama ni wa say anshamra obi so baba ka say John Mahama the dollar ne ba 10 anything ne etua okawe and the dollar no 23 ntimi ntua John Mahama so person oyi sa ade free wo na obi ye kokoo kueni a onim se osore a se dollar no wo fomo dollar no wo suru onim se dollar no esiri trase kura ye wo ebuo bi dawa ye fa ni base price sa ebuo no eno de e wo se kokoo kueni ne onya atofo se ne kasa no o say de ye nyina from titiri nyina ne say cocoboard de omo ya ne say omo sori na makobo besia omo kobo besia ye ntumi ntia besia no hwana mo no mo kire omo kokoo kuafo o se sia no John Mahama ka kire eye aban we say kokoo kueni bia ode ni kokoo akoma aban ewo abra na atofo se ne kasa na ewo se animanim ha ye tua ne ka enitina ende 237 million Ghana cedis kokoo kueni bia ukoko wa aban ho no ye betua wo saa ebo na ewo ho ansa na saa reforms we ba enti bibia nsesan 2026-2027 season no enyandru ye 2025-2026 no wa ukoko wa aban ho bia no ye release 237 million Ghana cedis ye betua obia sika ama no na okasa no see this nyoma bia omde atoto kwan mu a eba be sakra asesa kokoo sene ye to no ene sene kokoo kueni no ho be hinha na emba se politicians ba na omudi agro John Mahama mpese politician bia beba biem edi kokoo kueni na be di agro efise kokoo ya de bia esombo so obi kokoo kuedwuma mu a na wana adwene se obeye adwuma ya din adwuma e din so e wo se unya aketua pa edi John Mahama se e wo se ye make sure se now ben was in kwade kokoo kuafo no ye nja omo into se one o me bibia friend cocoa bill now cocoboard bill no the ben say your friend be automatic adjustment now automatic adjustment in say cocoa boy ye tuma automatically at least a cocoa kueni say ya tum every $1 ako $30 cocoa kueni no automatically the cocoa be kosoro o se opeso o share say eyemra ena samra no de be ne se kokoo sebio dollar ne kofom kra omo be set price bi atwa it does not matter how low cocoa dollar price will go down no ana world market no be down no cocoa kuafo omo Ghana de say 10 cedis ne betu omo a cocoa de betuma koduru 1 peso Ghana ni cocoa ni no ne one bag ne betu 10 cedis because aban ne pese o protect cocoa kueni no enti de John Mahama bill or de ba no de be ne say so kokoo kueni ne e wo Ghana na ende dollar no sebio kokoo yese dollar kosoro akoduru 50 enti eton kokoo bag bia $30,000 one bag John Mahama say ye be hwe sa board ho ni etua woka o see se dollar no so tiba fom na be duru $1 kokoo bag bia $1 o see Ghana buying the price bi beto sa price ni say dollar no be duru be business e wo fom kra sa price ni de yentumi ton less than that means cocoa bag no John Mahama buy no omunwe bill we no na the standard price bia beto a it does not matter how the dollar fluctuates or the world markets fluctuate, your base cocoa price will be there. Inti found any cocoa senya dollar no ana world market ni be conform e betima tiaba $100 a bag. Ghana ni cocoa kweni no se base price na 50 Ghana cedis a ono de otam no cocoa na oton ema Ghana ban ana omo aban ama mutumi so monto a 50 Ghana but e kosoro so a sa price na kodu no cocoa kweni no o se tua no at least 70% of that price. And this is adia na e wo se cocoa kuafo ye chirechire mu a NPP fo nkwasiafo mpese mu behu inti eba sa na cocoa kweni wo Ghana. What is going to happen? And I say ya took cocoa, hallelujah. Ya took cocoa, so I would problem because who base price that you are working with. Inti, I'm say, and the dollar ya what any at tiaba $1 no, you say and the dollar no, aqua, you say cocoa price ya teso every 3,000 be do 1,000. Oh dear, wouldn't say Ghana no, ya took cocoa so saying cry at least cocoa bag be 50 Ghana. Oh dear, wouldn't say I am ya say. Se cocoa no ye tuma could do 100,000 a banish of about 70% of that 100,000 inti left or right cocoa queen no samra we banner parliament jituma cocoa queen no ondi here biom world market na enye cocoa queen no problem. The only time obesha world market say cost kesi ane ni age if you say 1 million per bag obenya about 70% of that 1 million say a drop it below. Still, our base price are autonomy cocoa, which is 5 Ghana cedis and 10 Ghana cedis and 300 Ghana cedis. Or them say they cannot go below that. That is what NPP from Pesamu. NPP from himself said, John Mahama Bino, et to me the idea way, eba mrem nebe yemra, cocoa kweni bien wa obedi hiya, cocoa kweni bien wa nakuma, sebio ebebodi bribri. Adentra, hey, you say the cocoa price na conform, on only problem. The one say also obo cocoa di gum because only at the end of the day, on him say your base price. Cocoa dollar ko fomo dollar ko fomo e ko fom ko sisan onim se ori de Ghana no dollar ko fom kra cocoa de to the same say dollar cost so a the percentage ni cost so at the end of the day no san komo we na o se cocoa kuafo frɛ from nyonko ka se and the moment ma ban pressure na o ma samra we mra dan say NPP for to catch am say aban we atwedi na cocoa kuafo su aban we e protect cocoa kuani. Into this is the time it was a cocoa for started from home in Nobwa cooperatives mu leadership rekajom say mumaya mo ban mumia binding sawoswo na ban empire simra we every say ende aban pa simra na cocoa bag and a ton e could do $50,000. What is going to happen is say yani cocoa for you bet you 70% of the $50,000. Say a tiba 2,000 a bag your base price yesiba kubia bottom kubia 300 Ghana 300 Ghana inti world market it tiba be si from crack cocoa kweni o Ghana emfa no ho na juma no oye. Remember the same cocoa kweni no onya fertilizer free, the same cocoa kweni onya spray free, the same cocoa queen onya insecticide free, the same cocoa queen is being protected by the government and none of John Mahama pasoye because on one case so or your cocoa queen it in common no omo pese mo be hu komo no na omo jan down NPP fo agimi eni jinam si cocoa kuafo edu sometime munya abotre na afi muntie nsem no nsem a finance minister kai no ye Ghana nkosi yebo say or sanka cocoa kuafo nyina etisi krom e ka say this is what we have been waiting for. Wey Ivory Coast for nya sa bill we enya sa mra we bia anka Ivory Coast for nkomu nya betesi krom aye dede aka say aban na boa cocoa for aban we de odi ba no eyade ebe so cocoa for asene mama yemfa ni agro sa nyoma no mka kan Facebook ni oboboa NPP for him say the moment John Mahama ebe implement sa the way parliament be atum no NPP mba power biem within a year. From 2027-2028, cocoa for on the bomb nsem because around that time no ye nya cocoa ni bi obeka say yes ya cocoa so intend me koton ya cocoa bag so no only time they be cocoa yentum because your price goes up 70%. Ye tisoba from kra your base price ya set to Ghana and no the cocoa prices ni say kra e ho ande to cocoa no. That is what we are all talking about. Itima mo mi NPP for mo Jimmy omu politics omu nim say nyoma John Mahama eye no say agini nyina tuma enya de a omu nkwasi party be power biem NPP before ba mo ha no bu so omu say na mo inti John Mahama say emra na person ko parliament no emra ne say to cocoa buo mu a so a yebenya mu about 70 to 80%. Yɛte cocoa so a deɛ nyina say your base price your buo bi a yebetwa to saa boɔ no cocoa yɛtum kosi fam kra saa boɔ no deɛ yɛntumi tɔn cocoa less than that. Adentina mo ma yɛ nyina support saa deɛ no. Mumu so mo adentina mo mmoaye embo ye cocoa akuafo ma yɛ ntia se ma Ghana fo hu sɛ John Mahama ne NDC aban adwini cocoa akuafo ho. Now policies ni bi anasa reforms ni bi no ebinie omo say eye cocoa na ende yet na Ghana no se se abrofo no nipa bebre edua cocoa ema se se no demand no a owiase no omo hu say de bi bebre o ha ye den ye cocoa inti abrofo no omo akoma nheda ni Ghana nko na Ivory Coast ho de ebetuma ne say John Mahama ban pese ode mra bi ba cocoa ye bedua ne Ghana na about 70% o se to no Ghana. I was say a top sa cocoa no Ghana because NPP abanja a kabe 5 billion and the John Mahama ban say sa eka da hono cocoa wrote near the idea shemu no or say na cocoboard at the Bank of Ghana ka almost 3 billion at the a kankitin bi and or say finance minister emphasize kan nsoa no mpe ekwa bi ne entua se sia no opese o clean cocoboard for slate so se ne be ya cocoa akuafo no cocoa na ye betwa afia edi enim ne de ekono dodo no ye betoro Ghana ya PBC ana mu nyina mu nim eye cocoa eye produce buying company a na mu di adwuma ma aban a sebio ende me no ka sei eye PBC no egu no ende de akosi ni se John Mahama aban ama PBC for to mean se cocoa atoto no ye de dodo na hye mu nsem wo ye cocoa akuani wo Ghana na wo twa cocoa a emrashe PBC say omuwe cocoa na cocoa ni gina na so na eye a oso moto because pese cocoa dodo no pese ye de kwakoji loan pese sa cocoa dodo no ye ne ankasa Ghana na ye to na ye process di ho adwuma into companies nkete a pese call into cocoa processing ye de bi be ye cake ye de bi be ye chocolate ye de bi be ye Milo ye de bi be different no ye see ye ba beton a processing of Ghana ama Ghana for companies no dodo no ato enough and sana de be kechire no John Mahama aban den akoton wa amono ne enti eno ena sesi aban no nhyehyeye a oye mumianko tie PBC for enso asema moka. All right, this is PBC.
Pleased to announce the reopening of cocoa buying centers nationwide. This marks a significant step in restoring confidence in Ghana cocoa sector and assuring cherished farmers of secured, transparent, and timely payment. One message to our cocoa farmers. PBC Limited acknowledges the prevailing liquidity constraints affecting cocoa procurement across the country, and we deeply appreciate your unwavering dedication to the industry and to Ghana, even in the challenging times.
Yeah, and also I'm a Ghana for Nyinati. Say, if free na ekono, PBC shared depo bia ewa Ghana afana nyina no, ya bie. Na we anamontu a yetu na de share reforms na president abeka ho asem no na finance minister de betu dwa no ye ka ede ahyemu kena ne ahwe ama cocoa nsensem a ekoso no yatumi atoto ne yie enti ye nuanom akuafo ye maame nom ne ye papa nom asem a ye ka nyina ne se yenim se Ghana cocoa no mo ene gina mo so endwuma a mo adi ede aboa Ghana nyina no eye ye ndepa eye Ghana aniso enti PBC ene yasem nyina ne se yanso yede yentoma ebobom dia no na dia yebeye aboa ama Ghana cocoa sem no atoto ye ni nyina no ene PBC ye bie offices ye depots ene ye shares ne enemu aka abom aye ama Ghana cocoa aye yenim sikasem ehontotoye ene cocoa a yato yentua ye ho nsensem a aba abetodwa a obia eka bi no yenim ni nyina na yenim se ewiase adwama so cocoa boa akofom yesika no eho a ayeden ene noma mienu miensa bi akeka ho ena ama sa dwumadie ana sa amanehuni aba beto akuafo so na se aban ase otu anamon na wasiesia PBC nso yenso ya crowd se ebeboa ama aban enhihye no
ene da ho no and the PBC for say cocoa ya show mo beto cocoa bia wo Ghana. All PBC cocoa purchasing centers begin full operation to transact business effective immediately. We they are buying ye ama cocoa queen no. Intenda we cocoa queen a from endeko obi ni Ghana betima ka say mo cocoa na minya ban to me to. Mi cocoa akadem. John Mahama say o twa sade no so. Bibuza cocoa queen a wo hwe me. Adenti na NPP for churches ansem we mu ankyerɛ because omo dwen say cocoa queen for magimi. Omo dwen say omo betumi my politics. Omo dwen say Ghana no mo be say no mo de munim Ghana. Omo dwen say mo kɔ efuom de bia nti sabio mo yenkurasefo. Eya de a NPP ye. Omo hye da ni solution bia ma Ghana. Yebusa ba omia and omo be so be the president say cocoboard de bre o wa adwenkyerɛ bi wo ho ana o so oni adwenkyerɛ yemfa gimi nkɔ no aba omia bie na no ka kyerɛ say cocoboard de bre oni adwenkyerɛ.
Cocoboard is on the verge of collapse. I'm not aware of that, but we'll look at that. I cannot comment on that. It's not.
How can this guy be your president? Onia Junior mine. He was in power. Now, the vice president, the head of economic management team. He was contesting to be president. He was on the cocoboard. Coco in one sense also oni idea montontwene oni assembly aka. It you see the difference between NDC and NPP. It Coco Kuafo NPP for me a konfo. Omo ni munyansa omo tirimu no mutie kurase. Omo tirimu no mu de mugu efuom. Omo tirimu no ye ba ne abeka nsama chem ntomo ba montenatena Coco ase. Ne amfa camera nsimu so na monkasa ye duru nkran ye beka mo asama ma omo. Sa na omo ka kire mo. Omo duru nkran na omo ton. Omo ton wa na omo de makoji sika. Inti omo humu se sebi omu ni munyansa but owu nkyerɛkyerɛma me de ama wo no John Mahama ban ni mom na epese esesa Cocoa ekuafo abrabo the same way NDC aban to masesa cocoboard gold board and the gold board na and the aya kono Ghana for and obi ntumi bia na no nka say adentina gold etu efa so be na enya and enya ho mfaso am enya bi egu akire Sana John Mahama person ye cocoa Ghana na se ye cocoa ho adwuma ama cocoa agina ne na so a hwana mo de benya mfaso kese enye cocoa kuafo ntaye dan na NPP ebe gina TV so ka se John Mahama ban ne mpem asem na NDC tamo ade omo boa mameka bibi nkyerɛ let me show you this boy we your friend Fifi Boafo ono oka NPP for a omo tena cocoboard ewie sika a boss over 5 billion can go. Abranti, your friend Fifi Boafo. Ono enana cocoboard. Omon samu nyina ya trogu krataso krachi penyi ne wo cocoboard former CEO no. Ono enane akora we ye adwuma. Sika na omuwia, eka na omobo. Abranti we na any cocoboard boss ne nam. And I will say the fact that we produce cocoa doesn't mean we should get everything of the global 100 billion cocoa revenue. There are many other factors that go into the production of chocolate, not just the cocoa bean. Ono na otia ben mu no se o se atiase se cocoa no enye se cocoa aduaba ne keke. Se ye ba process na onyo bebre a ye betumi aye anya sika kese. Cocoa revenue 100 billion. Now ono tena abemu 8 years said na onim say cocoa no enye duaba ne nko a na ye betumi processing in different ways. Why didn't they do it? But ende John Mahama beka said abi I was see my PBC taking over the buying of cocoa enisi akwaji syndicated loan e ka na da ho na cocoboard e bogu no and we move e ka no say yempe e kwa bisu ntua na yem starting from fresh slate na yema cocoa akuafo no sebio yema base price bia e was see the parliament ko semra se ne be ya obi ntumi mbu cocoa akuani no sa ban bi eba na John Mahama after 41 years NDC ni so na ban foforo bi ba obi ntumi nka say eye world price na conform inti cocoa no ye so akodu pempenso bi da bi base price wo ho cocoa world market price no cost 70 to 80% of the price na o see check cocoa kuani no eno na John Mahama yama cocoa kuani na the reason when time they brand to a video by and say me pese me busa Ghana for cocoa board cocoa kuafo cocoa won sama abanyina no who is the right person to answer questions on cocoa board? The former cocoboard boss away Joseph Edu away mumusa cocoboard boss and say adentina onu ankasa avail no ho This guy is a non-entity. This guy is a criminal partner to people who are working at cocoboard. The question here is, say Joseph Edu, na oye cocoboard CEO and the Kufuor ne Baumia. So see, a juma odi no, sebio na onime juma ni so echen Randy Abe. Onime juma ni so echen NDC for wa mbokro no, adentina on avail no ho Emma Ghana for mayen to no. This is a non-entity. The reason why the former cocoboard boss na owie sika ebo kagu Ghana so no on to me kasana ne say he knows say jumadia odi no it was not right obo ekagu ho because Joseph Edu no so onwuye. Joseph Edu no Ghana. Adentina the so-called media houses are not trying to get to speak to him because sebio aponcheni finso asbe ka chose denchema wu a yendi na tro se sia ne pese denchema nankasa denchem ni wuye denchem na tiase denchem no Ghana oba brochira se obi free office na se ne office no ho nsamba edien insensema enye ne spokesperson e kasa o as far as the person is alive Congress calls that person. As far as the person is alive, the person will have to go on a media tour to explain his leadership, what he left behind. Because we don't know. They all cano. At the end of the day, we did not appoint him. Cocoboard boss no, a friend. Now we want the person who was appointed by the president to lead Cocoboard to speak. Adentina Joseph Edu has decided to run away from the media or to say Kenoforiata. He's a criminal. Last we busano me see on the Akwebi Free Holland buy me say can be on record over 4 billion Ghana cedis. Sakwano bedi etu na de buy this deal brand champion so ni they came to lift over 4 billion from the Bank of Ghana cash, created a fake contract that they were going to supply a nyoma to cocoboard at the latter part of the elections. Addison knows about it. Joseph Edu knows about it. I want Joseph Edu to come out and say they didn't put any deal together that was over $4 billion. $4 billion. Go and ask Joseph Edu. These are criminals. And this guy, why to say when you're rabies, he's speaking anyhow because they don't want Joseph Edu to speak. But Ghana say serious, sir. We will call Joseph Edu and tell him to come and speak on the matter. Where is Joseph Edu? Mr. Get me his picture. The question here is, Mibusa NPP former parliament, the first person they need to call to come and justify that the NPP did not steal from us. NPP for answer cocoboard and come back and say, Mr. Speaker, let us bring the former cocoboard CEO to come and prove to us that we the NPP, we are not criminals. Why is Joseph Edu hiding? Onye. I'm trying to get you his picture. This is Joseph Edu, criminal guy. This guy, why is he hiding? Inti afenyo makin say ope answers ewo cocoboard one. They should bring this guy. They should tell this guy to come and justify why he is not a thief. Why is he hiding from the cameras? Why is he hiding from the media? Why are you one of the greatest criminals in the history of the Republic of Ghana? Sikania kikani na 5 billion. It was under his leadership. So technically, if you don't want to mince words, he is the greatest thief. Why is he not coming to justify that Atoforson was lying? Why is he not coming to justify, say, under his leadership, Cocoboard and Moka, he is the CEO. I'm not looking for a foolish spokesperson. Who the fuck is a spokesperson? Who is a spokesperson? The portfolio why? Who appointed him? I don't give a fuck about Fifi Boafu. Who the hell is that fool? I want this guy to speak. This guy should come and tell us that all the things that Atoforson was saying was a lie. The NDC MPs in parliament are supposed to push the speaker to bring this man out to tell us the same way we are calling for Kenoforiata to come. This same NPP piglet are saying he should stay in abroad because in Kwasiafo, Way is alive in Ghana. Why is the media not bringing him on? It is under his leadership. Yeka cocoboard $100 billion na Joma media and champagne go to TV so say yes, I was the CEO of cocoboard. I made this money. John Mahama has messed it up. Why is he not coming to justify why he's not an armed robber? He's not a thief. We see Asamoba kwasia bia tumi ka bi but we kokoko kweni anya botre ne ti asem no asem bia ba kwasia bia tumi ka bi asem bia jimini bi ofre no journalist bia tumi ka bi but also o study asem no o analyze asem no na wo question wo ho ka say asem ni ye nyina ye kasa but this guy under the leadership of this guy omuto keyboard for 45 million keyboard under the leadership of Joseph Edu omuto computer keyboard something keyboard. Let me show you a keyboard ni they bought this keyboard, this Apple keyboard omuto keyboard 45 million under this guy's leadership. And the fifi boy for said kwasi ampenyi you enya krono na abafo ena yesi bedi nkwasia beka nkwasia semankofo a under this guy's leadership they bought keyboard for 45 million only this 45 million under his leadership cocoboard under NPP they bought keyboard for 45 million. Who the 45 million bit my 45 million Ghana cedis keyboard bako. So we sit in Ghana and we make some foolish people sit on radio because of dirty politics, because they want to victimize people. They want it to look, the story to be about some individuals. The cocoboard issue is not about individuals. I can tell you on authority. Randy Abbey, cocoboard, I don't care who he is and what he does. If the institution is structured well, we can get even a blind man, with all due respect, to lead a cocoboard. So the argument, if John Mahama sacks Randy Abbey today and family home, if John Mahama brings another person and family home, all that I need is that the reforms are put together to make sure Obi Obeba sa office biano on Sisi Cocoa farmer no. And that is where my argument is. I don't care about the personality issues. I don't care about who is leading. I care about the reforms that will change the farmer's life. And that reform, and John Mahama, and that is what we need to follow. That is what we need to follow. So people are making it about political parties. The NPP failed on all fronts. How can you buy keyboard under cocoboard 45 million? Joseph Edu no way. Where is he? I don't know. I can't say who. Let us know where Joseph Edu is. We want to interview him. He should speak. Kwasia for ye ja airwaves mamu 10 minutes. Na mudi dim kwasia samo Ghana. Mojin say ye tikrom ye nim nyansa. Mojin say tikrom ye nim nyansa. We all know what's going on. Ye nim say NPP akrom for. Cocoa farmers obian to me enyo mo bone obian to me nada omo. John Mahama or reading the State of the Nation in Ghana. When John Mahama read the State of the Nation 2025, Oka said there is a problem at cocoboard. He will solve it, and he's solving it. This is John Mahama.
Mr. Speaker, it's not my style to lament and shift blame when confronted with challenges. My approach is to accept challenges and work hard to resolve them. Indeed, this is precisely what the people of Ghana elected me to do. I have therefore not come here to lament on the state of our country. Though there's much to lament about, I understand why I was elected with such high voter confidence, and that is to solve Ghana's problems.
Is to solve Ghana's problems. And solving problems, and you'll be on the bed today. And the guy is solving problems. Years upon years, we have done the same thing when it comes to cocoboard. This is the first time we are changing the course a little bit. NPP someone tiasi and kwasiafo and tianya dang. Yeman tubaba umia. Nanya the same about the busa cocoboard problem. I'll say he does not have an idea. Inti wako jina cocoa fu tianya dang. Yan tumaba umia kwasiafo. And this is how the conversation is supposed to be. You see, in common cocoa farmers, NPP farmers have sentimental conversations, emotional conversations. Hey, we are cocoa kweni, now cocoa kweni, now you do some sika. But the real issues are yes, solve a problem. Long term, cocoa kweni no enye hieni no. Among person meka because some kwasiafo from NPP that is what they do. Guys, I'm making you binchiramo. Ejuma way, sebio enye emotions ready you. When you want to explain something to Ghanaians, obeso cheche bibi mucha Ghana fwa. So you're a journalist, trans na kinkan, neti in common say, never nyansa, eka u delivery ho, nama Ghana fwa ntiasye. Memetiye, with all due respect, mebusia, yeso okoko fuo. mebusia wa ye de wo kokofo kakraka na ene koko kwadwuma no asɛe na aban bi ebe ni ye na ye nyina ho atoya metia no wo se wo ya NPP ni nti onkwase akeka nti no. We need to listen. I'll say aban ka sama yentena sine yentie die na aban na ka edi ngina so at least aban na ebi me yehu cocoboard board. The turnaround is crazy and the government is going to do that. And the or ye koko a ye bedua ye betwa no Ghana ye beto do no Ghana PBC na ye beto no direct ye nkobo besia em beto koko every kwani wo asem we enya wo de asem we enya wo de and the koko kuafo bi say enya de omo beton mo koko efuo no efri say ende na nyome mo ayedin a omo wo gidie wo aban nim say aban we nim nyansa na omo koko enua no mo twangu he. So who will be on TV so sebio na also a koko kwani or try to koko gu a kajen so me so oyekusie kajen say he should go ahead and cut it. Koko kwani bi onim nyansa bi antwa koko nguda. It does not matter. Say koko no ye to one bag one cedi a koko kwani onim nyansa o ye koko kwani papa on try to koko ngu on turn koko magalam say ni ekire obi a sebio na adwene wo foma sebio onim nyansa. Now you say cocoa duane esiwa for cocoa nko esiwa for generations. Obi oye cocoa kwedi bi anim say enye ono nko na edidi cocoa no ho. Eye na nchirima na edidi cocoa no fi say cocoa no nipa dodo mo ye cocoa kwa for no betu cocoa kwa adwuma no. Enti sa wa breso na nyoma ayedin kakra enkire se de odi wachi ba no so nyoma ba edin. Enti when it comes to cocoa farm, it's a legacy project. Kwasie bi obega say mi twa cocoa fuagu no onye cocoa kwani oye kromfo. And intina and the koko kwafo bi omunim nyansa ne ka chaw say me koko kwani ekwafo me ntwanguo me fama galam say for every say me wo gidie wo aban nim every say minim de e wo say eba minim say aban na kasa no gidie bi wo akiri a nyoma betuma asesa and intina yeti koko fo nyansafo bi kasa untwa koko mu dabi
adenti se koko ni ne me bibia betumi di ahwe me madia boma brabo ma sitim
em so utwa gu wie na ja ebo sa ba mu na wani asa ko dinya go chinti
timitwa koku no gu galamsey scande within a short time abede ebesa ena meja koku no ho ma me nchirima na me nana me kwala ni nyina nso abeti eno ana me de hwe mesku eno ana me ye bibia
galamsey sika no so emu otu
de ntia me pese metom me koku de magalamsey fo ne se meton koku ne de magalamsey fo mo se na sika na me nsa aka me dia ye 1 year 2 year koku sika ne besa
ya me susu ye de mintu bi koko enwu efa magalam sefo eno emmo ami magiska di mprempre ya ebi so le menyanwi de akra me ho kire me
baby awudu adu kra wo mfie no kwa animu
me 62 years me mfie kwa animu ti mo mu pa me de me magalam sefo ntumi koko nguda
ba se koko no won mo de every year bia menya some beneficial on it yeah have me yeah me sabe kesi kantina me se me nton me koko mfa magalam se no se galam sefo ne saka de 1 year pepepe me di bin fanya bibia merci me dis kana na say ba say mani na me mani ahochirechi na me koso ye adwuma ni ya koko no be boa ma every year bia no me nya sika ma metimi dia ye de ese me de
ti aban no mo woni mu gidie
me de 2 years na oba be din wa ya ma hunu de mo woni mu gidie se obetimi aboa ama ye koko sector no arise ko esoro.
That's all. Owoni mu gidie se obetimi aboa aban entoatoaso intaban bi aboa aba na opese osesa nwome mu a e wo se ye gisa agidie because for a long time sani aye koko sani aye kuafo this is the first time aban bi ebe ye sakraya mu adin eso a eye den obi tumi ko gina kasa aban ni tan kokofo abra president na oteso no president na aso ye koko kwani NPP fo agim he Joseph Edu ne banie Joseph Edu na oye cocoboard former cocoboard for boss no nebani. I am very proud of the legacy my father Joseph Boahin Edu left at cocoboard during his tenure as chief executive officer. Ne papa eye cocoboard CEO and ye tamu sikama ko di MP e wo fori krom kwasi ampanyin. Ne papa monga ganyen sam ne papa tam $4 billion One eye Bank of Ghana governor any bedi etu ene konaive ye brand champion ni mubi ene omtam sika ne ma akwa bi o Holland na mu de eba kwasi ampanyi we. He is proud because when his father was the CEO of cocoboard and muna onya chance enye sika ebe ye campaign ebe wini wo ofori krom because na sika wo cocoboard na de papa e wo sika na Ghana for Kuafo omugu sebio omukuo omufuo omu ye adwumaden no na ne papa gisika no na o gisika na ebi so no so na odebedi parliament odewura parliament intende o ka chen say nani agise ne papa eja legacy ne dian sa legacy na mana bedi MP sa sika na ne papa nya ebi boro so no ebi na so no so a and otumi nya ebi wi a ye be ye MP senka ne papa nya kromfo a adan na on kan chen papa say ompie no be defend ne legacy kwase ampanyi we sane papa nya kromfo a adentina all advice ne papa say you have a legacy, come out and defend your legacy. Foolish man. Adentina papa to defend your own legacy. Why can't this fool, why can't he come out and tell his father, they are saying, I am saying that you have a good legacy, go out there and defend it. Oh papa Daniel Boasha them because of the chrono. He should come and defend his legacy. This foolish idiot. Ne papa bedi cocoboard CEO no nyobia. And for some reason he became a millionaire overnight. Onye sika no rua parliament. And they'll catch a Ghana for so ne papa ja legacy pa adentra. Oh ya ti koko ekuafo koko so. And so na papa wo no na koko ekuafo yentua moka. Ne papa boka over 5 billion. Sa kronfo we gina me see. I am also sending a message to this guy. Say on friend papa kanchen papa say be a man with balls. Menya kronfo. Go out there, go on radio, go on TV and defend that your legacy. Let your father come out and defend his legacy. Papa mo ambobra. Ma. Ya papa mo ambobra. O papa kromfo. Omra TV so be defending legacy. O papa kromfo. He should come out. Now papa or legacy. Why are you not telling your father to come and defend his legacy? Ekufuor kwasi ampe you know almost all legacy I don't want to defend legacy. Come and tell your father to come and defend his legacy. Adentina PRO na also defend papa legacy. Let your father defend himself. Anano kwati amem. Anano shuaira. Tell your father to step out as a man, not as a chicken. Come and defend his own legacy. Foolish people. Mu Ghana for so mwe Jimmy. Motiti Ghana na nkwasiasam. Munyanko for sika fufu na mudi. Foolish corruption. Your fathers get into positions, they steal money. You people use the people as idiots. Or for you could not be MP. MP before we start in nkwasiasam, started as antimemu. Or for you crown about me MP. Now kwasiam penyi sa baby a sebio nipa na dwira ba omoto ansa na mato ba over to MP. Or for you chrome and I don't know ede tribalism na to aba. Senka omo trans na omo assess nipa obedi omonima anka wo over to MP. Nyansa be na wo utima ukodi MP ofori krom because ye mudodo no me nua no masantifo ni bi no ye nhwe nipa no tribe ne party flag ne ye hwe nanka ye assess nipa na assess nyansa da ne trim ene ne track record ene hyehu na obetumi dia ba nanka wo tumi di ofori krom MP. Go and tell your father if he's not a thief, if he's not a criminal, Boahin Edu should come out and be on TV like the way CEO of Cocoboard is on TV defending his job. He should come and defend his legacy. Let's drink some water. Ye jinem wasiafo. Ye jinem ye la.
All right, well, welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. We're also talking about a new business story now, the Ivory Coast. Cocoa, we're talking about cocoa. Now, the world's largest cocoa producer, unsold cocoa beans are piling up in warehouses as global prices slump, and cocoa prices have fallen nearly about 70% since last year and are down more than 50% from record highs in late 2024, driven by improved harvest forecasts and weaker demand. The exporters are refusing to pay the government's guaranteed farm gate price, arguing that Ivorian cocoa is now too expensive in a falling global market. And as a result, cooperatives are struggling to sell stocks and repay farmers while debt continue to mount.
We are experiencing difficulties because the government has set the price of cocoa at $5.07. At first, everything was going very well until the end of December, but this January and February, things are not going well. However, the cocoa is stored at home, the buyers are not paying, there are some buyers who come to buy, but they take it at a low price, $2.71 or $3.26. In other words, they offer us a choice that doesn't suit us, and due to a lack of resources, we are forced to accept these prices.
The earlier surge in cocoa prices was triggered by poor weather and crop disease in West Africa, and that supply shock pushed cocoa futures to record highs in 2024, and now improved weather has boosted supply. At the same time, high chocolate prices have cooled consumer demand, and this has prompted manufacturers to reduce chocolate content or shift towards alternative products. And despite falling cocoa prices, consumers are not seeing relief at the checkout. Long-term supply contracts, stock purchased at higher prices, and continued market volatility are keeping retail prices elevated. Major manufacturers raised prices globally in 2025 to offset higher input costs. While some European markets have seen selective price reductions, companies say global prices are likely to fall immediately.
Upon us with mercy. So those of us who have common sense and are on social media and are writing, why is the president giving 25 million and this and that and talking plenty and the cathedral is going to cost you to lose elections? No one will lose elections because he built a cathedral. We will see in this country. We will see it that no one is going to lose election because he dedicated a prime land for God. Judges were living in that place. Ridge is one of the choicest lands in this country. And they said, take the judges out and put the temple of Jehovah here. That's what Solomon did. Now, because David obeyed and he created a temple through his son Solomon, can you imagine Jerusalem 5,000 years after the fact? They still call Jerusalem the city of David.
Enkwasiasam nkwa hwe ohye suit bia ye pam no uchimen of Vietnam and the tunsu abegina ho and who is going to lose the cathedral and the kwasiampanyi odidi nkofo yirim achi kwasiampanyi we no fin Paul Ademochre, and they were defending nonsense. Kwasiafo we Libya no mo ana say ekrobi Iran ya hangi omu nyina dada kwasiasam nkwa defending a whole. A stupid fool with Jimmy, and these are the kind of people NPP for say yenti omonombra power. This Joseph Edu guy, former cocoboard boss, Massa Sakwawi, or a dangerous man. We need him to come out in 2024. Mamika Semichiro. This Joseph Edu, Onuna ye cocoboard CEO 2024. They spent 3 billion. 3 billion on administration costs. Je paper we ko print na moye meeting no ya beba da ben na mo cheni schedule no item 13. So when are we meeting the technicians? Are they going to bring 2024? They spent 13 billion on administration kwa. And you say omoti office wo. This is Joseph Edu. Listen to him.
You know, the rehabilitation program is something that was not existing. It became because farms were diseased, CSSBD, there's no known remedy, there's chemical remedy. The only way is to cut the trees and replant, which the farmers cannot do. We've seen it over the years that farmers have not been able to do that on their own. So the government, together with cocoboard, then decided to make major intervention.
Jack, TNU, cocoboard, former cocoboard boss, NPP, Kufuor, cocoboard boss, Joseph Edu, and also on Kasa, Messabo video, no, almost spending 3 billion administrative cost. And na omudi nua omudi 3 billion twa koko nua adentira koko akuafo no entumi ntwa omo ankasa dua ngu fom nti omo ko twa nua no 3 billion administration cost omudi ko twa nua under NPP Joseph Edu Mesabo video no. But I want to explain something to you. Where when we are and today omo yi omo sin omo keka nkwasi asem na omo dada koko akuafo nyi nkwasi afo NPP font me dada obia o Ghana for Jimmy, as far as we are here, you be big Ghana for any. Under the leadership of this guy, the legacy, they be na me watch no. Nebani said the papa legacy. That is why this fool is lying. He cannot come out and speak. He spent 3 billion on cutting down trees. Osi koko ekuafo to be twediano. Omso mukoko no akate aguso. Omu ni sika mu betwa into ono under NPP under Boahin Edu. Almost spending 3 billion. Eritwa cocoa nua. Listen to this guy. Modia momo bodam.
You know, the rehabilitation program is something that was not existing. It became because farms were diseased, CSSBD, there's no known remedy, there's chemical remedy. The only way is to cut the trees and replant, which the farmers cannot do. We've seen it over the years that farmers have not been able to do that on their own. So the government, together with cocoboard, then decided to make major intervention, which we call the rehabilitation program. And once we have to spend. And if you are spending, definitely your administrative costs will go up. So a lot of that money is going into payment of the workers who are working in the field. We are talking about planting materials and then various activities, because almost everything is being done for the farmers, for the provision of even plantain suckers and planting. I've quite often explained that if you leave it with a farmer, ordinarily a farmer can cultivate just a pole. A pole is a 40-ounce plant. So even if you take it as an acre, a farmer can do an acre a year. You give yourself 10 years, you would have done 10 acres. Now, when the disease strikes, the farmer will have to cut all the 10 acres and replant everything at a go. And the cost of doing that is number one, labor into that. Even the time, there's no way the farmer in Ghana can cut 10 hectare, land and then decide to plant on his own, or even with the family. They cannot do it. That's how come we intervene to do it for them, and then also pay compensation in respect of land tenure issues involved and all that. So we have a lot of expenditure going on there. But the question that came up is that whereas the expenditure there is going up, it is not corresponding with our production, and that is obvious. It's so obvious that these are young farms. When you have the rehabilitation, these early stages, you don't expect to see yield. And the audit was in 2023, but going forward, from now, we are going to see.
You heard it for yourself. Okache said 2024, almost spent 3.4 billion. Eritwa cocoa nua. Kwasi ampe insane papa legacy. O papa mpie no defend the legacy we ni enhwe. O papa we want him to come out to defend his legacy, or the 3.4 billion. Or si kwekuafo nankasa omu ni ahoden a omu de betwa omu cocoa nua no nti omu eco high manpower labor. And the cocoboard na rent labor ekotwa nkofo cocoa nua gu. Na cocoa kweni se odua cocoa na akatisi so a se estati a ohu de akati besusu bia no ode drogus na anye ya na otwa to atwene. Say 100 acre de bia hu akati na obetwa bi. Eye dan na cocoa kweni ntumi ntwa ne cocoa a ene cocoboard etam 3.4 billion. 3.4 billion de betima cocoa kweni no. So ma cocoa kweni bia 100,000 Ghana. What do you even spend cocoa? The same time no more ton fertilizer ma cocoa kweni no. The same time no more ton insecticide na best stop it yare na eku cocoa nua na omo ton. In the cocoa kweni na dollar no was 17 no. Na onko tam sika when environmental fertilizer. Ensan kokoto insecticide. Enkoto spray machine. Embe spray cocoa no so kwasi afo. Dollar no was 17. So time no near to insecticide saying near to spray machine saying so time na cocoa kweni fertilizer na free and answer auto. The same person is telling us say or spending 3.4 billion. Ye busa o papa legacy ne bi nie inwan o pese about Joseph Edu legacy chiro ye ne your time fucking me madwuma ni o. This is what I do for a living. De bia me ka chire mo na mo ntiase but say Anderson Cooper me sorry no pa, this is what I do. Me sorry we are when I'm medwene ho, this is what I do for a living. Me and my team, myself and my team, we sit down, this is what we do. Me nye dwuma foforo bia nka we ho. Me Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday me ginem medwuma ni I have time. And I can do this for 30 years. Inti menya wa adwene say me yalala so life for ebi omtete wom kaka nkwa asem asori ko. No, I do serious work here. And so person about power near show legacy. We will show Joseph Edu's legacy here. Documents are bida. Let me tell Ghana for a lot of people are starting to complain about oral. Oral does not prosecute. Oral just takes data and provide it to the Attorney General. Attorney General goes through and decides, say, this is prosecutorable. Where they are able to prosecute, where evidence is weak. So nobody should think, say, oral has been given some power to prosecute. Oral's job is to collect all the data. Into me, minimum so be a debone. Now me the same information akuma oral. Oral job is to push it to the Attorney General. It is the Attorney General's work. And yet, a dear be a Sebian a prosecute. When it comes to political prosecution, you cannot just take a document and say, because as a way you're to be prosecuted. No, you need to go deeper than that. When it comes to prosecuting CEOs, former CEOs, and people who were given government appointment in various offices, it does not take just an office to prosecute. There are other agencies that work with that office that if Attorney General wants to prosecute, they need to get the collaboration of all these agencies. If you want to go after this guy, Attorney General just don't get up one morning and say, because prosecute will be. The Attorney General has to make sure, say, we weigh the options very well. Because you as an Attorney General, you cannot go to court and lose the case. Now, what you need to do is to make sure, say, every agency, because cocoboard signed document, it is not only cocoboard that deals with it. It goes through different agencies. So if you want to prosecute, you need to do your work. That is why political prosecution is not like regular civil prosecution. And I also agree that Attorney General should do better, and Attorney General should move quicker. But realistically, if you want to do a good job and prosecute, you don't rush through prosecution. You need to get your facts right. You need to make sure going into court, you will not lose a case. The same way NDC focus say prosecution is important, it is the same way during Oponi's time, NDC opposition, because the NPP did not have a better case against Oponi. They dragged, they could not prosecute Oponi. And I don't think this Attorney General wants to fall in the same trap. The Attorney General, even though I believe that he's slow on some things, I think he needs to be careful in prosecuting, and he needs to make sure he does it perfectly. The execution should be perfect. It is not about the quantity, it is about the quality. If you can get 10 people and you know you win the case, you go in, you bring in the right institutions and agencies that will support you with the document to prosecute. So but when it comes to political prosecution, when you pick a CEO, you don't just say because CEO is signed. You go to the chief director. He needs to get a supporting document. The agency that worked with that agency, you need to get what? Their assistance. The police need to come in. So you just don't walk to court and say, may win the case. No. That is why political prosecution, it takes time. But everybody knows how it works. You need to make sure you are airtight on your evidence. And I have the belief, the things I know you don't know, definitely people will be prosecuted. The rate at which we want people prosecuted, but the probability and definitely say you're prosecuting for Ghana, it is high. And I know it. I know more than you know. So let's not make it look like you see oral only power to prosecute. Oral is an office that takes data. They take information. When they take information, they go through it and say, where interesting. Where I feel say as someone, the knowledgeable Attorney General who knows the law to look at it. Even when the Attorney General takes the document, he will also view it from a legal point of view. Because to you as a layman or to somebody at oral, that document looks like it is prosecutorable. But when Attorney General looks at that document, you might start the case and end at a point where you cannot conclude your prosecution. So it is up to the Attorney General to be meticulous and be very careful when it comes to prosecuting politicians. These are all politicians. I support the prosecutions to be faster than it is. And I would like to say this to the Chief Justice. Chief Justice, I believe that the court can do better. We cannot sit in Ghana, not the case about court. Not a judge will tell the prosecutor, I am adjourning the case for 1 month. Sebio, we are not in the animals kingdom. Sebio, say, oh, a judge, na untumi ntina case ho, end the case no, na utumi e call say, you are adjourning the case for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, then you are not ready to be a judge. I think, with all due respect, there are too many lazy judges in Ghana. And for a very long time, we have allowed some judges in Ghana to get away with murder because at this point, they call cases at their own pace. Case a due point to be it needs to be moving. Yes, the judge say, well, postpone the case for 1 month. Now, postpone the case for 1 month. Are you not getting paid? Are you not getting paid by the state? A dear empire now for 1 month. In Ghana, a judge can postpone a case for 3 weeks, for 1 month, and a case that can take 6 months to solve. No, a judge will sit on that case for 2 years. That needs to stop. And I'm pleading with the Chief Justice. If you really want to set an exemplary or you want to be an exceptional Chief Justice, I know you've been talking about the tribunals and the fast track court, but we need the judiciary to also help, because it is looking like the judiciary is becoming too lazy. Majority of our judges in our court, with all due respect, they are lazy. They don't take their work serious. How can you sit on a high profile case and tell me that you are taking an adjournment for 1 month? You are taking an adjournment for 3 weeks. And what do you want the people to do? So the slow pace of cases and all these politicians becoming bold, walking in Ghana with their chest out, thinking nothing will happen to them, is because of some of our judges. Because some of our judges are the ones delaying the cases. They are basically not working. We are paying them for doing no work. America Kroben Ababa so I say judge be a postponing case for 1 month. Ehefa na Ababa e wo krom ha. Judge Becker say, me yare, yanji me to hospital bed, so me postpone the case for 3 months. And one case, judge to be postponing it 7 times, 8 times, 10 times. Are we paying the judges or they are paying us? And we need to look at that critically, because Chief Justice, with all due respect to you, it is looking like you are losing a grip. It is looking like the judges are becoming more lazy. Every single day, you encounter myself, with all due respect, there are some very good judges in Ghana who are doing diligent job. They sit on cases, they run the cases. Most of them are lazy. They are lazy and they are making the cases not to flow. And the NPP for the BFili say they have a case because a judge a high profile case, so a high profile political case that is time sensitive, and the judge will tell you, say, I'm going on medical leave for 1 month. What the heck? Where are we living? Is that a nation that we can be sitting in and expecting people to be prosecuted? So Chief Justice, enough. Get your hand on the steer and get going. Get the job done. You have nothing to lose. If the judges cannot move the cases fast, move them and get new judges who can move the cases fast. Because it is looking like our problem as a nation now is the slow pace of these judges in our various courts. The high courts, that is where the traffic is. Judge to me tonight, so I can go back tomorrow. I'll come and show you cases and how judges have postponed cases. Ochina, maybe some of the cases. And you ask yourself, say, so what is all this postponement about? You ask yourself, are they able to meet 1 week? A judge can postpone for 3 weeks. Why? And that judge is taking salary every day, sitting in a car, getting all the perks, and then sitting on us as a judge. What is your job? What is your job as a judge? With all due respect to the judges, I respect all of you, but the laziness now creeping into our judiciary is getting out of hand. It is what is energizing these politicians to keep doing what they are doing. Because politicians need to feel say, I don't need to do anything. If I see the judge, if I'm able to convince that judge, I will make sure 10 years, court, jail. And that is what we are seeing here. How can Attorney General come to court, a high profile case, and the judge will just say, I'm taking a break, 3 weeks time? Nonsense. What is this? How did we get here? Everybody's doing whatever they want. Because some people have been given the privilege to take care of business. From tomorrow, I am going to take my time and come show you some of the cases. Time is starting here, and the number of adjournment judges at all. You will see. I'm going to expose the laziness of the judges. You will see. I can tell you on authority. Attorney General wants the case to move fast. The judges are slowing the case down. And some of the agencies like the CID office, some of the agencies like the GRA, Ghana Revenue Authority, they are not supporting the Attorney General with documents. Some of the things is the GRA, the CID office, some of them need to bring documents to help the Attorney General, and all of them are slacking. In summer, maybe canon, as time goes on, people will be shocked. If these judges, if the judges decide to make sure Omatana cases were so as swiftly as they can, so many people will be in jail. Our biggest problem in Ghana today are some of the judges. I'm telling you. Our problem in Ghana today are the judges. The judges, some of them are our biggest problem. Now judge to be back court. The answer to case. Somebody is sitting there typing the whole time. What the answer to analyze it? Or say, I'll be back in 3 weeks. I'll be back in 1 month. Why? and we are paying you. No, look at it. Moment share the way judge to me better court. Some of them come to court late. Some of them come to court with this posture. With all due respect to our judges, they sit down. Your job is to have water with you. Sit down, listen to both parties, make their case. There's somebody sitting there all typing the whole time. Because every single word that comes from every legal person's mouth, they need to put it on record. You are just sitting and listening. Now, you tell me, you know what, I've adjourned this case 3 weeks' time. I'm going on medical leave. Near Ghana, near Sisri. Abroad, there are judges who are dying to sit on cases to make sure it goes faster. No, Mr. CJ. No. You cannot leave the judiciary with this kind of record. No. I expect you to change things at the judiciary. The pace that I want you to be changing things, you are not. The cosmetics are too much, say. With all due respect to you, some changes needs to be done. And I know you are trying to do those changes from the base. I've seen you introduce the tribunals and the first courts and the lower courts. No, we need you to take action at the high court. No judge should be able to postpone a case for more than 2 weeks. No judge. Why should a judge postpone a case for 3 weeks? Why should a judge postpone a case for 1 week? Why? If you are sick as a judge, take medical leave and leave the scene. Go and take care of yourself and let a healthy judge sit on the matter. But
Enti ensem no na yakọ akoti edi aba no. Enti wutie nsema Kevin naka na chese Kevin de ba NPP for ho ehyehye omo papa. Kevin ba na NPP for ho ehyehye omo. Kevin ba na NPP for eja egu omo chem. Kevin Tailor ba na chese NPP for omo pe boni bi modwana akọhye. Ayese sebi can say about rat. Okusi na odija to no bom. Bom so bona no di to afiri. Eno no wanya no. Sana Kevin na NPP for. Obo mutuja na fidio maba monte so. No mo be kasa na Ghana for yenyomo. You see, the Kevin pa de bia meka. Senke yenya Kevin wo Ghana ha e kam before e di Ghana. Omudi ebeye kapete tete ayeso papa because NDC for no binom nye ebinum suban nye yensi anse nkati akokasa ayem chese whole lot of things. You see, no kwase me wo mi say yemede say yenya obi enani adin na John Mahama yem president nso nani abede say obeye de obekọ so obeye de fight for this country. Obey serve this country for God and for people, for God and country. Interne ayemi de papa. So opanyi Kevin Tailor, papa monte so no be expose owura Joseph Boahin Edu. You see, the course wo cocoboard na niema nkoyi nyina no ejina sa panyi we eso because ono ene no ye panyi odi animu. Panyi so de otene fi man kwada we nanka yebu nanka wefo a ujina mu dendenden. Nti ene ade papa okoye no cocoboard aye no nam so ema ene omko position a ye bo mudin di kansem no eno ho defense ena obo ni sambre. Eno ho defense ena obo ni sambre. Nti sana ade na akwakoye mesro so document betum. Nti Kevin yamishira wate yamishira Kevin ti yenya Kevin ogana hanka yewu ke tiate because Kevin ena semsia tun boase echechiri magana fo etini ye. Kevin Yakupo Chirabusia minka se bebre sense matika take you a lot of your time. Iti meso se would comment betum na wa share opinion on this issue. What I say, but you dear kubia the bibent me enkoso wano emfa emau. Iti your bad duma news be a business pia no mega metam eja ba be chira mo platform so. For now, dear, I'm in phone. See, bye bye.